Hey folks, had a request from a subscriber asking me to talk a little bit about lights mounted on guns, specifically light and laser combinations. And over the next week or so, maybe a couple of weeks, we're going to talk about a couple of different options, as well as some of the benefits and liabilities associated with mounting a light on a gun. This particular model is the TLR-2, which gives a combination of both light and laser. And that's in my opinion, that's a really nice setup. There are some real advantages to having a laser on the gun, specifically your ability to see the target and use the laser to basically, put a spot on that target from odd angles where you might not be able to totally see the sights. And we're going to demonstrate some of that at the range later today. But I've got an unloaded gun here. It's a Glock 21 SF. So one advantage, of course, of a light laser combination or a laser combination is you can put the laser onto whatever you're seeing, and I can do that even if I'm not looking directly on my sights, okay? And what that allows you to do, obviously, if for some reason I had to engage a threat from an odd angle and I couldn't actually aim my sights, and whether it's from down here at a ready position or compression against my body, I can still see where that hit is going to go. So that's a big advantage. The other advantage from a light standpoint is with this one, you've got a really significant impact here, is your ability to basically illuminate your target, and that light is so bright it's very hard to actually see or respond back. So this gives you the ability to, on the TLR-2, to have a couple of different options. You can simply engage this right here for a momentary on or off, right? You can also set the other side so you can flick that on permanently, and that'll work from either side. It also has a strobe, and strobes are very, very debilitating. If you want to test this, take the gun, the light off the gun, obviously, or take any strobe flashlight in a dark room. Have someone hold that up to your, from a distance of 10 feet or whatever, and try to approach that strobe with no other context. It's really disoriented, and in fact, it frankly makes you almost feel dizzy because you have no real sense, that strobe, that flash strobe. So it's a good non-lethal tool as well. So we're going to talk about this, and we're actually going to shoot it. One of the things that is, in my opinion, a bit of a liability associated with this is I've got to point the light at my target if I'm using that. Now granted, I can sweep, right, a specific area and maybe not have the gun specifically pointed at the person. However, there is some consideration, I think, that you need to have if you're going to do that. So one of the options is, of course, is using a handheld light, and let's take a look at that. So talking about lights and guns, obviously the technique that is very useful is one in which maybe you're holding the light off to the side as you're dealing with a potential threat. Now that obviously gives you a lot more flexibility in terms of moving the light, and I don't have to point my gun at anything as I'm doing that. And there are various techniques for illuminating the light and having a two-handed hold on the gun. And again, I'm not going to spend any time today really talking about that. What I am just showing you is that you do have options rather than mounting it on the gun, and actually having a light that's not mounted on the gun is, in my opinion, a great thing to have. I have access in terms of a personal defense standpoint within my home, not only long guns but also a sidearm, this one in particular, the Glock 21 slim frame in 45 ACP. So what I like to have is I like to have this. So I've got a light laser combination if I want, but I've also got just a regular handheld light, so I don't have to use the light laser combination unless I want. So in summary, I really like the Streamlight, this TLR-2 laser light combination. I think it's superior to the SIG product that we looked at yesterday and shot at the range a little bit, and there's a video on that product. My main reasons for saying that is the fact that the way it's set up in terms of the design has the toggle switches on the back. So as you're holding the gun in a two-holded stance, it's very easy to bring that light on and off from a momentary standpoint. It also allows you to have only laser on, and again, you can just illuminate with the laser for a minute. Let me see if I can get it here. So I can just turn that on and off simply with a quick flick of my finger, or I can put it on permanently. And then finally, with any laser light and weapons mounted system like this, it does give you the ability to basically see where your hits are going to be, are pretty darn close if you've done your job in terms of sighting in the gun. And so the use of sights are not as critical, because you may not be able to. I may be, back here in some weird retention position trying to keep the gun away, or I'm leaning out around an obstacle or a barrier of some sort, and maybe the gun is low and I need to really make sure that that point of impact is really going to be where the gun is going, and so I don't have to come out to see my sights. So that to me is a huge, huge advantage, and something that should be considered as you're looking to a laser mounted light or any kind of weapon system like this. Finally, I would say that the attachment point compared to the SIG is much more secure. It just really feels like it's locked down, and there's no movement, and it doesn't loosen up, or it hasn't loosened up when I've done a fair amount of shooting of the gun. So those are all things that I really like. What's nice about any weapons mounted light like this is you can, take it off and stick it on another light. Basically any of these will work on any gun that has some sort of rail on the bottom, some sort of pick rail or some modification of that, which means that you can swap it out to another gun or to a rifle. I've actually run this on an AR. Again, this is very small, but works very well, does not change, or has not, for me, in shooting that I've done, changed the harmonics of the gun in any way to induce malfunctions. Now, some people have said some weapons lights do that. Therefore, if you're planning to get a light, you really want to go shoot it a lot, put it on the gun and shoot the gun a lot to ensure that the gun is still functioning. Again, this is a Glock 21 45 ACP slim frame that seems to work just fine with this the TLR-2. And therefore, I'm really happy with it. So those are my thoughts. Hopefully this video was useful to you. I want to thank you and all of our subscribers for watching this video and subscribing to the channel. We've had a tremendous amount of growth these last few months. A lot of good ideas coming from folks, a lot of sharing of information and knowledge, and I sincerely appreciate that. So if you like this video, click the little like box at the bottom. If you don't like the video, I'd really like you to tell me why, so I can improve it and make it more valuable for you and the viewers. It's not going to offend me if you say, geez, wish, see, I didn't like, this, and this, maybe you should try this. I'm wide open to feedback. So again, thank you so much, and as always, stay safe.